welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on seamless service catalog creation with HelixGPT Service Catalog Curator Agent. Today joining me is Deepak Rudra, our Principal Product Manager. Along with him is his team that will answer your questions. So just a couple of reminders, there is the Q&A section of Zoom. During this presentation and demo, if you've got any questions, please put them into the Q&A, and we will have some time towards the end where we will go to live Q&A and answer your questions. Just as another reminder as well, because this is a roadmap, we do have a legal notice. We do ask that you don't record this. There will be some content that we will be sharing. And although we share the recording, we just ask that you can read this notice and understand that we can't promise everything will make into the product. So with that, I'm now going to hand over to Deepak to do his formal introduction and go through the agenda for today. Over to you, Deepak.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, and welcome back to another session. We will be talking about HelixGPT agent, which is a new agent that's going to be introduced in DWP catalog. It's going to be called as Service Catalog Curator Agent. And as you know, we've been expanding our journey with generative AI. So this is our next step towards helping customers build their service catalog using generative AI. So I'm principal product manager those of you who don't know me, a lot of you, I see common names. You've been working a lot with me and you guys already know me, but those who don't know, I manage digital workplace and digital workplace catalog alongside my other peer, Carl Anders. He is not here today, but I have the team. So we are looking at, from the agenda perspective, we are looking at various details of Service Catalog Curator. I'm going to be giving you, as always, like I do not provide like superficial information. It's going to be in detail information so that you can always play back the webinar recording on YouTube and then always try the steps that I basically try to show you. And then we'll go into demo part. Again, it's a generative AI. So yes, there will be, like always, I do not record my sessions. I just want to show you everything live so that you can see how things work. Sometimes generative AI will have hallucinations, and how to handle those situations also. So we're going to talk about that. And I purposely added some of those pitfalls so that you know really where things are going wrong and what are the troubleshooting steps. Okay. So we're going to do a live demo. It's not recorded, not always perfect. Okay. So that's what I wanted to cover. And then last we'll have Q&A. So what is Service Catalog Curator really? It's a tool that we are providing, a generative AI agent we are providing for administrators to curate service catalog without prior knowledge of the product or with minimal efforts really. Some of you, those who are already very well versed with the product, may leverage it for building the structure of the catalog offering, so you don't have to spend time on creating the building blocks. Those who are totally net new newbies, to the product, can basically use it to generate a catalog offering and practice it and basically create structure of it and then have end-to-end workflow. So the only thing that you need to just do after that is publish and you're done. It includes several blocks, which include several essential pieces of the service offering that you manually create today will be automated and will be created, and along with the workflow that I'll basically show you at the end. So what it does really, as I said, it's going to save you time and effort. Those of you who know the product really well, it's going to save you time and effort. Those of you who don't have prior experience, it's going to be a booster for you, that it's going to give you a head start how to build things, and so you don't have to really start from the scratch and scratch the surface of the product. So little to no development experience, you can get started with this. You can do real-time edits. So if you have a team, you want to create something and then you basically go back to the team and say, now I have to make an edit. So that means really changing the question, modifying the question attributes right from the scratch. That increases your work. But here, what you can really do, it's because it's giving you an output right at the beginning, not directly pushing that into a catalog. You have time to review it with your peers and then basically have the edits by just communicating with it as a human being, just chatting with it and making the edits on the fly. And then if you're comfortable, you're happy, you can just submit it and it basically creates a catalog offering in the draft mode. The other major problem that a lot of you have really is the translations, because I understand you have you are multilingual, you have bilingual sometimes, and you have your end users, those who are like different regions. They have their browser preferences, and you have to sometimes ask them to really use English catalog offerings, and it's been a challenge for a lot of you. That translations take a longer time. You have to download the CSV file, then basically translate it and then import it, right? And it doesn't take care of really catalog profile. So with this catalog curator, we are making translations effortless. You can translate just by saying LLM, just generate, like a parallel translation for me in French, Canadian French, right, or German, whatever language we support today, is it will be able to generate it. This is made available to you all starting 25 to release. 25 to release is already out of the door, so you can just go and take a look at the documentation. Now, and before I get into this slide, I just want to talk about how do you get it. You will have to, if you are on Service Management Suite licensing model, it comes as part of the Service Management Suite standard because DWP and catalog are part of it. So you get it, and then we can work it out with your account managers if you have queries on the older licensing model, how you get it, and under what conditions it becomes an entitlement. But for you to really get this Helix GPT offerings, you need to be on the Service Management Suite, standard offering minimum. Now, you have to enable this. It's not enabled by default, so it's an opt-in functionality. So you will, in those of you, these are the steps really. First step that you see is you need to configure the LLM providers. We are not LLM providing you LLMs. We are providing you the framework. This is part of the Helix GPT, but you have to bring your own LLM here. And in this case, we are supporting Azure OpenAI GPT-4o and GPT-4o Mini. So those are the large language models that are currently supported. The reason for not supporting others is we need more testing and we need more time. And this worked best with these models, but it doesn't restrict us from introducing new models and supporting new models in the future. But at this moment, it's GPT-4, GPT-4o Mini. So you will go into Helix GPT Manager. On the applications, you will see Helix Digital Workplace Catalog, and there is a skill that we are introducing out of the box that will be made available to you, and then you can select your models. The next step after that is inside the application, it's again an optional step. It's pre-configured for you, but just in case you want to make changes to the skill in the prior step and want to use your own skill, then you can basically go and change that skill. We do not recommend you to make these changes. You can always provide feedback back to BMC and we can include that in the skill. Otherwise, there are chances that things may completely go wrong because there is a lot of structuring behind that skill that we have created and the prompt that we have in place. So you can always create a copy of it, but we don't recommend. The reason why we have this step is because you will need URL from this because we are embedding this as a iframe. So basically it launches into a separate UI where you start working on it. And then, so what you would do is you would open Innovation Suite and you'll open the Service Catalog Curator, and then you'll have a view, IS view, Service Catalog Curator view. There you'll click on the preview button, and preview button will have a URL at the top. You're going to copy that URL, and then next is you go into DWP catalog settings in the IS administration, and you're going to put that URL. There is a slight tweak that you have to do to the URL. That's documented. It's not a big deal. We don't need to really go through it right now, but these are 3 steps really for you to get started. Nothing else, honestly. And this is an optional step, but you just have to follow it in order to get the URL for this IS view, Innovation Suite view. If you have any questions, I know it's a new topic, you feel free to put it in chat and I have a technical team who can help you by answering these. Now, what are the core capabilities? I tried to put this into feature scope and coverage, and then like what is supported right now, what is unsupported. So this is the catalog curator view that's basically going to open when you launch catalog curator from DWP catalog. And then as I said in the beginning, you have support for GPT-4o, GPT-4o Mini. When you interact with it, the logo of your service that's created is a default logo because there is no native integration right now to generate the image. In future, we may. Right now, it's defaulted to a BMC logo. This agent for now, again, this is first release, so there will be a lot of enhancements coming up in this release, in the subsequent releases. But this release, we are focusing on basic services. So the amount of time it takes for you to really create a basic service, for example, one incident, that is creating one incident or one work order, which has a interfacing approval, it takes you probably like 2 or 3 days. With this, you will be done in 5 minutes. So we are targeting basic catalog services in this release. We're gonna take it to more complex services in the future. Again, you're not restricted by complexity. You can add more complexity to it by chatting with it, and I'll show you those examples. Services, as I said, which are created will be created in the draft state because we don't want to push anything into a system into a published mode because you need time to review that. You cannot be 100% relying on AI. And then in this release, again, it's the first release, so we are providing you a best practice out of the box workflow, which supports different kind of approvals and conditionally can basically switch to one of those approvals and can also create conditionally a type of fulfillment that you define. And we'll talk more about the workflow. I have a separate slide for it. Now moving on to unsupported scenarios here from the core capabilities, you can't create a service in a subcatalog for now. You can create it in the main catalog and move it into subcatalog later on from DWP catalog. At a later stage, you will be able to do it. We will provide support for it, but this is just the first release. Business workflow case creation is not supported right now, so it's purely ITSM at the moment. We will provide support for business workflow case creation also in a later stage. You cannot have connector specific services. So if you're using some sort of, like REST connectors, you are using some other connectors from our connector framework, iPaaS or something, you cannot use that for now because we are providing you out of the box workflow, which is specific to ITSM, but in future we will. So we will give you a workflow creation capability also from scratch that you can chat with it and create the workflow. Bundles are not supported at the moment. In future, we will. It doesn't support RTF formatted input. So for example, a lot of you really want excerpt descriptions to be RTF enabled, but at the moment we do not have support for RTF. It will be supported in a later stage. And those of you who are still on SRM, it's instructions basically where you can have RTF capability, but this is, again, you have to realize that it's the first release. We will take it there and we will provide that support. And in the subsequent releases, editing of existing services will be made possible. Right now, it is limited to creation of the new services. So you will be able to chat with your existing services and will be able to modify those. So that's future roadmap item, really. Okay. Again, I'm not saying we are not going to do it. It's future roadmap item. So a lot available on this slide, but I'll help you navigate step by step, really what all of this is. Okay. So what you see on the right hand side, I just provide a prompt to Service Catalog Curator and it generated everything for me from scratch. I can be more comprehensive if I want. I can just tell it everything I would like to see in a service. And there is a guide available inside that tells you how to structure your prompt. But using that, I created this, and you could see several sections automatically created. They are very well defined in a table, and then you can see attributes and information of all of that. So don't get overwhelmed with this. I have actually broken it down on the left hand side. So you have service parameters, first part. That's is it multi-locale supported, yes or no? What are the possible translation languages that you are able to translate? What is a logo, right? If it is generated a default logo, it will say I'm generating a default logo. Then the next step you have is about information about the service, like service name, what template is it picking, and do you need versioning with this or not? Again, based on the intelligence, and I'll talk about each of these. Basically, templates will be picked up automatically, name will be picked up. You can edit them as if you want. And we'll go into each of these bricks individually right now as we move forward. Now, the catalog profile, service profile includes the profile page that includes the categories on the right hand side that you typically have. It's going to pick up those from your existing categories. It can, from its own intelligence, can find out what is the appropriate fulfillment, or you can supersede that and say, I want to create a work order, and it's going to create a work order. Tags, it's going to automatically generate tags for you. So you don't have to, you basically take out the guesswork from there, excerpt and description as well. So they will also be generated. If you're not happy with the generated one, you can ask it to regenerate with some variants and it will basically do it for you. And then the next part comes is the workflow. That's the next building block. So you have workflow name, approval type, and then the fulfillment requirements. Really, do you want, uh, right now we are only supporting internal workflow, but some customers want quick link catalog offerings also. So that's not supported right now, but we are providing support for the workflow based fulfillment process. So the workflow name will also be generated by default every time a new workflow will be generated. Okay, even though it's a default workflow, like a best practice workflow out of the box, we are not reusing that because we understand customers want to customize those. If we just start linking one default workflow with each of your service, you lose the capability to really customize it, because one customization in one workflow will impact all your services. So we are creating a copy of it with the name of the service. So you will start seeing like a generic workflow hyphen name of the service along with it. And then approvals, if you don't specify, you say no approval. It's, if you don't specify, it's going to use its own intelligence to say whether approval is needed in this situation or not. But if you want to supersede that and say, hey, I want to create an incident, but I want an approval, that's not usually typically the case. You don't need approvals with incident, but you never know, you may run into a situation where you need this. So you can supersede that and do not let LLM dictate that. But if you don't specify, LLM will basically take over and give you a recommendation. Now, same for questions that are created, and we'll go into the details. So it's going to create labels, it's going to create description, question types. It's going to automatically pick up the question type and then going to give you a recommendation and additional details. So here it is, really, it picked up the label, it picked up the description, it picked up the question type automatically for me. And then it basically, there are additional details around attributes. For example, is it a required field? Is it a hidden field? All of that. So we have trained it on a way that it basically understand what is our schema. And when LLM say this is a kind of question that you should have in a catalog profile, it can basically change it accordingly and bring it into our understandable schema. So all of that is taken care by our code. You don't have to really worry about that. And then last but not least, we are looking at the other properties, which is cost quantity. So you can have cost adjustment. As you can see at the bottom, you have price. Again, if you don't provide any of these, LLM will take over and will recommend you something from possible options that we have in DWP catalog. Okay, so you can say I want price none, I want quantity as min and max quantity as 1 and 2. It's gonna take over. If you sorry, it's gonna take your prompt into precedence. If you don't say, then it's gonna take over and define something for you based on the boundaries of DWP catalog. All right. So this was like really the foundation block that I wanted to explain. This is a kind of output that you will receive. You can chat with it and make changes, and I'll show you that as we move forward in the demo. But now let's talk about each block. Again, I only picked up the blocks where there are certain limitations or you need to know, really, right? So things which, like for example, service name, excerpt and description, you don't need to really know about, because those are like free text field. You can chat with it and it can generate things. But I basically kind of, you'll see 3 or 4 slides me talking about all of these blocks where you need to pay attention. Okay. Everything has a corresponding entry in the documentation, but I just wanted to really show you what it really means. So what is translatable? And I explained you in the beginning, you have questions that are translatable. That means label, description, the default values, and display values in each locale that you specify. So if you ask for 5 locales and you say, okay, give me 5 locales and then give me corresponding value for each of these, it's going to generate a value for each of these. Then your catalog profile is also translatable, which you don't have capability today. You have to really go into each locale and then basically make the translations. You have capability to basically export the CSV for the questions and then import it. Again, for catalog profile, you have to go and manually do it. I think you can still do it with the CSV, but what I'm trying to say is really you can do it in one single shot for both. And you will have exact output in front of you where you can just go and see, is it right with you? You can take it back to your linguistic team for basically validating those and then submit it. So you're not obliged to really submit it right then and there. In future, we'll also have capability that you can save and retrieve your previous chat history. Right now, we don't have it, but you have capability right now to copy the entire prompt and entire output. All right. Moving on to the next thing, it's about templates. Templates, as I said, it's going to pick up the most suitable template. You can say pick IT template for it. Then you basically supersedes the LLM, but it's going to go into your system, identify what are the templates available, and going to pick the one that's most suited and will ask you in the output, do you confirm? It only creates the service after you confirm. It cannot create a new template, something to remember. We are not allowing creation of the templates from this catalog curator for now. In future, we may. So it's a future capability. Same for service categories. It's going to pick up the categories from the most suitable category that you already have in your system. You cannot create new right now. In future, we may, and we are targeting for that. But I'm just trying to tell you right now what's possible. All right, moving on to the next slide, that's around workflow. So this is where you need to pay a little bit of attention. The workflow will be auto-generated by Catalog Curator agent, and I kind of explained you how the workflow will be, and we'll see the real life demo of that. Approvals, here you will see approvals. The kind of approvals that we are supporting right now is manager, group, individual, and none. All right, so you can just say, I want no approval. If none will be picked up, you can say I want individual approval. Individual approval will be picked up, group approval, group, or manager approval. So person's manager will be automatically picked up. So it's all included in the code. In this release, because of limitation on time, we were not able to do one enhancement that we have in the IT content pack that we already have available. Is for group and individual approvals, you have fields, dynamic field, not dynamic field, basically fields, process fields, process questions, where you can put the login ID of the ad hoc approver, or you can put the support group ID of the group approver. We were not able to get it in time, so we dropped the support for that. But for that, what you can do is you can tell service to have group or individual approval. It's going to select that option automatically. But as an additional step after the service is created, you'll have to go in the process and in the workflow, sorry, in the questionnaire, and you'll have to bring those process questions in and manually define the support group ID or the approver's login ID. It's only for this release. Honestly, next release, it will be all prompt based. This was already in our IT content pack. We were not able to align it here, but you have provision, so you're not blocked on it. And I'll show you the example. And then the fulfillment types, you have work order, incident, change, or you can say no fulfillment really. That's also an option that you have no fulfillment. It's just a service request. And then this can be fine-tuned in, in the prompt or later in the process variable. So you can define all of that. I'll show you how it is done. Now, here coming on, I'm not going into detail of each of these. I'm really highlighting the ones where you need to know things. Okay. So question types, what are the question types that are supported? Because ultimately entire questionnaire section is based on what we are going to support. So we are supporting, and like all of this, you'll get it on the documentation, but I just wanted to set the stage so you know about it and you can ask your questions to me and to my team. We are going to support checkbox, counter, date, date time, description, drop down multi-select, drop down single select, password type question, radio button, text area, text field, time, toggle, file attachment. All right. Things that are not supported. And sorry, before I move to unsupported, you can take a look at all the attributes of these questions that are supported. So don't need to be overwhelmed right now. You can just read it in the documentation, and then if you don't want to get into the details of it, let LLM take control of it. Okay, and then you can modify it at a later stage. Now, in this release, as I said, wherever I'm talking about unsupported, is because this is an initial release and we will support it moving forward. So I'm kind of trying to give you a hint of what is coming in the future also. So at this moment, you do not have dynamic qualification builder that you can say, hey, create a question, give me the login ID of anybody, everybody who's in CTM people form and login ID and, profile status is enabled. So that's not possible right now, but we are working on it. So lookup type questions, dynamic dropdowns, dynamic multi-select dropdowns, dynamic tables, and multi-select tables are not available in this release, but we are working on it, and subsequent releases you will start seeing those. Conditional questions are not supported at the moment, but will be in the future. And then we have some special, like as I said, question types which are not there. Again, we need a little bit of more research. How LLM should be able to generate it is a document type question, which is for, like a read-only document that you can upload. Lookup, I kind of already explained that. Tables, and then section. So those are not supported right now. But what you see on the left-hand side gives you a pretty good use case to begin with it. Okay. All right. And then again, last but not the least, there are things which are not supported right now but will be in the future. These are additional properties, for example, disable on behalf of request, unrequestable, quick requests, collaboration, knowledge article association, reopen, and then service actions. So they will be in supported in the future release, but again, it's a initial release. So idea is to take baby steps and then move to a full-blown solution. All right. So this will be supported, but we already have plans on how we want to support all of this in a chat interface. But again, you're not limited. If you have the framework right, if you have your service right, these are just options that you need to check honestly, and then things will be done for you. So without further ado, I just want to show you guys a quick demo on how it's going to look like. So if you are in DWP catalog, quickly validate. I'm logged in, fine. Yeah, and then you go under services, you will see a button called Catalog Assistant. This will start to show up after you do the provisioning steps. So if you guys want, I can just quickly show you the provision steps, but they are straightforward and they are very well documented. So in under Innovation Suite, in DWP Catalog, you will have the Catalog Curator view. So you will have a view, Catalog Curator view, and then you can just go and take a look at the view, and then you have those provisioning, the steps that I just kind of highlighted to you, right? And then you will be able to see that. Um, and then the next, yeah, and then the next step that you have is after you enable, you'll have the catalog assistant available here at the top. This button will be available. All right. Yeah, this is the one I was telling you. You can preview this and then you have the URL. You can just copy the URL. There is a slight tweak that you'll have to do. And then you go into the administration and then just set the URL, right, under DWP catalog here. All right. So you just basically copy the URL that you have for the view, and then you just got to make little bit of tweaking that's documented very well, how you can do it. And simple, you are done really with the configuration and you are up and running with Catalog Curator. So let's move back to Helix GPT first. Let's quickly show you guys how the skill is in Helix GPT. So you go to Helix GPT Manager. And Helix GPT Manager, you will have Digital Workplace Catalog application. There you will have this skill, all right? And that's where you're going to select the skill and then you're going to set your provider and your model, really, right? So that's something that we are supporting. And then you have prompt that I can quickly show you. Yeah, and this is your prompt, really. I don't recommend changing it right now. If you have any feedback to us, you can always come back to us. But it comprises of a lot of information that we have trained this, like we have provided, and we have asked Helix GPT to really create the structuring in that particular way. But we can work it out with you. But at this moment, because you're just starting with the product, do not make a change. You always have option to really create a copy of it and try it out. That's up to you. But do not make changes. And before you even get started, right? Then you have this catalog curator available in DWP catalog. You need to click on it. And let's see if I have. All right. Okay. So just one service created. So you will have this kind of view. So your administrators, your subcatalog admin, your internal suppliers and all those roles will be able to access this. Again, the service will be created in the main catalog. you will not be able to create in the subcatalog, right? So it provides you an interface where it tells you how to get started, what are the things that you can do. You always have a guide me button available here because I can understand you will have a lot of information that you want to use really. So you click on guide me, and in every release, we're going to change this guide me to provide you more information. So it basically tells you what all can I do really for you, right? Because you want to know really what you can do, and then you need some examples. So it tells you that these are the things that I can do for you, and you can. This is, like a prompt that you can use for creating a catalog offering. All right. So it's a quick starter for you guys and for your end users or your administrators to use this functionality. And then you can start a new topic. And for now, I have like created a prompt for you where I'm saying create a service for guest Wi-Fi access. It should use IT request template and then may require versioning. If LLM comes back and I say I need min and max quantity as one and two, yeah, and like max or yeah, no cost, but there is a quantity and no SLA. Right, I can just quickly change to no SLAs, no service target. The service request requires a manager approval and should generate a work order upon request. So you can be as as descriptive as you want, or you could just put a single liner saying that create a service for me for guest Wi-Fi access, and then LLM will basically take over and then try to generate something for you. So then it starts generating the service offering for you, like I basically showed you. So let it generate. As we are chatting, it's just generating it right now. Yeah, so it's basically done. So you have it is so because my catalog is multi-locale, it's saying true, but it's only generating it for the default locale for now, and I'll show you examples later on where I can generate it for different languages. It's a default logo will be set. Service name is guest Wi-Fi access. I can chat with it and I can change. It automatically picked up template in my system. It already did the versioning for me. It automatically identified the service category in my system and then picked up the best category. I can chat with it and make a change. It automatically found out tags, excerpt, description, generic workflow, and it gave a name of the workflow. As I said, it is using manager approval and work order type. And then these are the questions that it basically generated along with the properties. Okay. So I just, and as I said, min and max quantity, I said one and two, it automatically took that. Um, uh, and then I can just chat with it and say, okay, attachment, attachment is probably, required as set as false. So I can chat with it. So it's going to regenerate everything because it needs your confirmation. We are also looking at some patterns of how we can just show you the required information, but we thought to begin with, it's really beneficial to show the entire thing so that you can have a copy of this really updated one, right? So as you can see in this, required is set to true. I can honestly chat with everything that I have here in this, and I can add more questions. It's up to you really what you want to do, right? So now I feel good. I see everything is working fine. I say just looks good. In future, we may have like buttons, which will basically do, but we are hinting what you need to say really in order to define your intent. And as I said, looks good. It's just doing the magic behind the scene. It's creating the catalog offering. And it's because it takes time, it's going to tell step by step what it is doing right now. So it's created service profile. It successfully created questions. And then, yeah, let it do its magic. And then, we can go and take a look at the catalog while this is happening. You would already start seeing things getting created here, but you will not have everything. So you can see 22 seconds ago, guest Wi-Fi access, and it's still working. Yeah. So questionnaire was created successfully. And then you have cost and quantity, and then a guest Wi-Fi access service is created, and it also gives you the ID, and it says you to go and check it in the DWP catalog. So now the service is completely created. I come here, I go to catalog profile, a BMC logo is here. Everything what we discussed is already here. It's already gone into the right category, right? Into this particular category and into multiple categories in this case. And then also, or maybe I clicked on it probably. And in this case, then you have excerpt, description, and internal workflow, right? I'll also show you example of translations, and then you have workflow that is created. So you have questions that are generated. This is the required approval question, which I was telling you guys in the beginning, that you have a kind of approvals. What you define is automatically selected. So approved by requester, manager. I could basically say individual approver or group approval or no approver. Automatically, this option will be set. Fulfillment types, as I said in the beginning, we are supporting. So automatically from your prompt, one of the fulfillment types will be picked up. And then here is your questionnaire. And then, like again, as I said, it's not dynamic right now, so it's not doing a lookup type question and all of that. But as you can see, it created like a static list also. And then you have values automatically added here. So then you can just make changes, append it, and then basically publish it. Now let's take a look at the workflow. So this is those of you who are familiar with IT Content Pack, this is the same workflow that we have from IT Content Pack, but it diversifies your use cases really because now you're looking at in one single workflow, you're looking at multiple type of approvals and conditionally based on what prompt says, and then additionally after approval, you are really looking at another call activity, which is these ITSM fulfillment. So based on what you select, you can have different fulfillments created. Again, if it's providing you a structure for now, but if you want to modify this, it's your choice. We created a copy of it and then it's available to you. You can have n number of like you can create chaining, you can have multiple fulfillments created after this. You can tweak this workflow according to your preferences. We are not stopping it. This is editable. Okay. Then cost and quantity. So the cost and quantity was automatically set, and then like your quantity and min and max was automatically set by you. So you don't have to really do anything, and then you just approve and publish. All right. Now, one use case which I just wanted to let you guys know that there may be a situation where you created it and you don't like it and you want to delete it. So what we recommend is you delete the service, no problem. All right. You delete it, but deleting the service doesn't delete the workflow behind the scenes. All right. You need to be careful. This workflow, next time, if you again ask it to create a Wi-Fi service, it's going to fail telling you that the workflow with same name already exists. We have it as a known thing right now. The workaround for that is you basically go ahead and delete the workflow too. All right. In future, we'll have the name of the workflow appended so it becomes a new workflow. But I would highly recommend that for hygiene use cases, you delete the workflow behind the scene. You don't keep it if you are not going ahead with the service. All right. All right. So far with me, and I hope you all are enjoying the session so far. The next thing that you can do is, you can have the same prompt and you can say provide me service in Spanish locale. All right, this is for translation use case. All right, so now in this case you have Spanish. All right, so now it's Spanish, and then you have whatever we can translate. We are actually generating a translation of that into Spanish locale. All right, so that includes your profile, your questionnaire, English and Spanish, all their descriptions, everything, right? Yeah, and I like it. There are certain use cases where if we have seen it's again based on the LLM. It's not Helix GPT, it's your LLM that you are basically using, that you can have some sort of hallucination. Sometimes it may generate some, if you provide a long list of locales, sometimes it may not generate that. So you need to ask it again. If you don't see, you can just say, hey, I don't see Spanish. Can you add it again? And it's then going to generate a Spanish version of it. We have seen that happening. So if you probably have like 5 locales, sometime it skips, like one locale. We are trying to figure out how to solve this problem for now, but it's predominantly driven by large language model, not by Helix GPT. So we are trying to optimize that, but it's in one of the known issues. So just wanted to call it out. And as you can see, you have translations for everything created here. So it looks good to me. I'm going to say looks good. And then again, it's just going ahead and creating the service for me. Let it do its magic. So let's go to the services and then let's wait for the confirmation that service is created. Yeah, it usually takes about a minute based on the number of questions. So let's give it a minute. The other thing that I also wanted to explain is again the translations are coming from LLM. I have had some internal discussions with our team members, those who are from different regions of the world. They have explained that sometimes the translations are not 100% really. Again, you are relying on LLM to generate that. It is not BMC really providing the translations. We are instructing LLM what to do and where to put the data, but you will have to double validate all of this. So my humble request is always validate this before you allow to submit. If you're not comfortable, take the copy of this and review it offline and then take your time to really confirm this. And then you can always delete it. So, you have time. You always have option to really make changes. But if you would like to stop it from before creation, you can just take your time, pause here, review. It will not create until you say looks good, right? Or I confirm. Wait for your confirmation. So now let's take a look at the catalog profile and let's quickly take a look at Spanish. Yeah, as you can see, the translations are already here. You saw English locale as a default one, and you have the translations here available for Spanish. Let's quickly take a look at the questions. All right, you see questions are automatically translated here. Okay. So it takes out a lot of manual labor, a lot of know-how that you need to know about the product away from you, get you more productive, and get you started on a very rapid pace. So at least a lot of customers that I have spoken with, they are usually creating one level of fulfillment, one approval. 90% of their cases are really that. Those who of you who are advanced can still create your framework with this, right? You can say, I want 20 questions. These are the questions that you need to ask, and LLM can generate it for you. So it reduces your manual effort really to go into the product and really drop down, create things. It gives you a framework, and then you start from there and then you build on top of it. So we are on time. We have 15 more minutes. So I'll take a pause here. I know my team is probably already answering a lot of questions. But Sam, I'm open to questions now, and you can,
They are. Can we just
however
go
you
to the
want.
resources slide quickly, just so I can give a bit of a recap of and a plug of what's coming up, and then we'll get to the questions if you wouldn't mind. Would you mind pulling that slide up for me? I think it's the next one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just for those that have started to sign up on a couple of sessions, we've also got two sessions coming up at the beginning of May. So the 6th of May is with one of Deepak's colleagues from Solutions Engineering. He's going to be going into the external portal, which some of you may already use and know of. So there is going to be some registration links I'll share with you because these slides will get sent out. And then I've also got Deepak again. If it wasn't enough today and CAF last week, we've now got DWP Guest Portal. So again, sign up for that one. We've got a link there that you can click on, and that will take you to the registration page. And then they weren't accepting that they wanted all of those sessions. They asked for another slot because we're really pushing a lot in digital workplace. We have a 25.2, what's new. The link will be available shortly. I'm just working with the marketing team to get that out. And as soon as that's available, any of the sessions we've run in the last week or two, I will be emailing everyone. And then if you're interested in other topics, I'm working with Deepak's co-host and partner in crime, CAF. We're doing a monthly session on the Employee Navigator. We're also asking for a call out of anyone that wants to come and do these sessions with us for prompting. So if you really want to learn about the GPT side, come and join us for those sessions. The last ones are listed in there, and we're also turning them into transcripts into podcasts. So if you go to BMC Helix Live on Spotify or SoundCloud, you'll find all those downloadable as well. So they are the main sessions we're running. There's a lot more great content coming. Keep an eye on the BMC community page. I will share that link in your thank you email. But I think it's probably a good time now because there's 6 questions still. Your team has been very busy. So if I just open up the Q&A, Nishan, I can see you've been having a dialogue with Deepak's team. So I'm just going to unmute you now if you just want to give a little bit more information about some of your questions, and then I'm going to go ahead and start unmuting everyone. Can you hear us, Nishant?
Yeah, hi. You able to hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Hi. Most of them are answered. I was just curious if you are giving this curator or agent kind of facility for the other modules of Helix, ITSM, and other products. Is there something in pipeline?
Yeah, so we are, so as you could see, we are expanding our footprints in the to administrative assist area as well. As you could see, first one we had was the knowledge curator, and then the second one we have now is the catalog curator. And then we're going to be expanding our footprints really in the administrative assist space as well. So as we move forward, I cannot give the timeline or speak on behalf of the other products, but we have a lot of those on our pipeline. So like that includes application builders, like process builders, um, custom agent builder is probably already available right now, but then it's going to be part of like a studio there where you can build your own custom AI agents. All of this is in the roadmap, yes. So we are also helping other administrative areas, so make your administrators on your system more productive, and like more productive in terms of things that you want in your organization specifically. You can go and create it at your own pace, right, and at your own knowledge, so you're not only limited by functionalities that BMC is providing. So stay tuned for that. Usually, if you want to look at, like the holistic view, you can always reach out to your account manager and can request for a dedicated session around the roadmap of the Helix GPT and the Agentic AI. There we'll have the directors for the entire agentic AI platform, and then they can talk about the future roadmap. So I would highly recommend, if you are really interested, Nishan, and you want to empower your team with more agents, definitely reach out to your account manager, and then they can talk to the respective team and get you on a future roadmap call.
Sure. Another question I have, and it's a real scenario. We have multiple instances of Helix, and can I deploy this curated DWPC to multiple hubs from one
Yeah,
location?
no, so it's local to your system, but what you can do is you can have, if you are like on this version, you have access to Helix CPT, you can just enable it everywhere. It will be on per environment basis. It's not across the system, because the reason is a lot of data, like for example, categories, right? Templates, they're specific to this system, right? So it's basically churning data of your system also and trying to find out the appropriate category and data. That will not work, right? If you do just cross,
The
platforms.
skeleton will remain same, but okay, I got my answer.
Yeah.
This is not coming with any separate license cost, right?
If you are part of service, so you need to have service management suite standard, because that's where we start providing Helix GPT. If you are on old licensing model, we can certainly work out with your account manager to see where does it fit with the entitlement, but it's actually part of the service management suite standard license.
Okay. The translation you're doing is not with the Google API or something. It is directly from the LLM, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And the last one, which is unanswered, can we get like the integration architecture diagram, like how from your corporate user to Helix to OpenAI, how the prompts are going, how you are securing them, where are you storing them, or you have your own vector DB, how it looks like, kind of flow, not your IP, but the high level flow.
Yeah, I can certainly look at it. Yes, I can try. I think it will be, we cannot go very granular, but on a high level, as you are, and
Yeah, yeah,
we are
just from the
talking, we can
security
have,
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can provide that, all of that. Again, it's part of the Helix GPT framework. So typically, if you are using any AI assist, it's going the same way out. Then the additional advantage is there you get the response back, and then you don't need to really ingest anything into anything, right? So for example, if you are in case of DWP, you are directly retrieving knowledge, and then you have, directly from the knowledge base. Here you are chatting with the LLM, you're getting a response, then you ingest into DWP catalog. So it's a multi-tiered architecture. First interaction is with LLM, then the result set is back, and then you ingest that into DWP catalog. Once we ingest that into DWP catalog, the connection with LLM probably is minimal there, because we have already agreed on what you like. But there are certain use cases where we recall the AI because of the translation and other problems that we have, where we want to reconfirm few things. So no problem, I understand, but if needed, if you want to enable it, any more details, you can reach out to
If you
me or
have
your
the
account
link of
manager. We
like,
can share it.
if you have the link of like very high level diagram, not very granular, it will be helpful. Maybe you can ping here.
Yeah, we can add it into the documentation. We can take it as a feedback.
Thanks, Deepak. Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you for your question. Okay, let's move to the next one. So Kitso, I can see you were having a dialogue with Shanshak. Shanshak, I don't know if you see the additional question from Kitso, was just asking around workflow naming. Can you see that in the Q&A? It was a previous question, Shanshak. I don't know if you want to answer that.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can quickly take other questions, Sam. Those are
Okay.
open.
Yep. So
Yeah.
the next
So
one
there
is,
is a
how do we
yeah from
categorize, identify the services created from HelixGPT and manual creation imports?
Yeah, that's a good point. I could probably may ask team. If team doesn't know it right now, we can certainly get back to you as a separate Q&A. But we are actually going to be creating really the telemetry around it. Okay. So again, how do you realize the ROI from this, right? Like if your team has created like 20 or 30 over a quarter services, usually your teams probably would have taken like a month's time to really develop those, but then now they developed in 20 minutes, right? Those 20 services. So, or I mean, it's hypothetical number, but probably let's say 2 days, right? Or 3 days really. How do you calculate ROI? So we are looking at telemetry service, which can give you a lot of this information about what people are chatting, what use cases your administrators are really asking, how many of those were successfully committed, right? Because at a certain stage, you need to also know what is the ROI and what is the spend that I'm actually spending on BMC, right? On this service really. So it also, like about a number of tokens really, how many minutes saved by doing certain kind of thing. We are looking at telemetry service, and it's probably one of the next future item that we are working at. So your question was more technical, like can I get the submitter of the request definition? But what I'm trying to tell you is look beyond that and look for ROI on AI investment. That automatically answers how many services for how many use cases were created. All right. So look for that. But certainly I can let my team explore that and come back to you on how you can fetch that information. What is the
Thanks.
development path? Yeah, from Simon, I see. What is the development
Mm.
path? Do you see this in straight to production or via dev QA production promotion? Definitely dev QA and prod promotion. That's the whole reason you have it in the draft mode. We want you really to test it out. Make sure everything works fine, align your organization related changes, and then move to production. Because as you can see, you cannot survive without lookup questions and dynamic questions. We are not supporting that right now. You need to update your questions to reflect that and then move it to Q and prod. Even in future, when we have this fully autonomous where it's exactly able to create everything that you ask for, you still need human governance. So don't go for direct production deployment. I wouldn't recommend. All right, will you have a roadmap to use other LLM models? Answer is yes. NML, yes, we are looking at, as I said in the beginning, um, we only supported OpenAI right now, Azure OpenAI, because it worked best from a result standpoint. Nevertheless, we will support many others that we're already supporting on the other agents. So we continue to do more testing. Our first aim was to get this out and let people adopt. And as you can see, our releases are pretty quick. Now, every 3 months, you're going to see a release. So you'll see more and more enhancements added to it. My recommendation to all of you would be always go for the latest, or probably if you are half the way, when you start your upgrade, ask for the latest version that's going to be made available. So because it's a constant evolving space. We are in fact, will be releasing a lot of fixes in the patches also. So to keep up with that, go for the latest version. You will have more LLM support there.
Thanks, Deepak. And I see Claudio's got two questions. I don't know if Claudio is still on there, quite long. I don't know if you can read that, and I'm just going to see if Claudio is still on. Maybe they might want to come off mute.
I think
Yeah.
this question was sent to me yesterday.
Ah,
So yeah, somebody from support reached out to me on this, that approvals are not available on Smart IT. So this is gonna be approvals are for digital workplace catalog are available to my knowledge on Smart IT as long as they are open. The moment they get approved, they become external activity there. You cannot click on it. The moment you click on it, it says it's not enabled by your administrator. It has to be a change on the Smart IT side. So we are working with product leaders on the Smart IT side to see what can be done for this enhancement. Apparently, it's not DWP really. It's a DWP request, so we have to work with them, but the product prioritization has to come from Smart IT. So we are working with them right now to show that approval information. And then the other part of that is submitted the idea. Yes, we looked at it. If it is the same case, but in general, I know this problem, what you're talking about, Claudia. And we had some discussions even yesterday. Some of the support folks reached out to me.
Okay, thank you.
The
It
next
was
question.
just to, oh, sorry, I would like just to thank you. I was just thinking if I need to create an idea or not, but it's good to know that BMC is working to fix it as up. Thank you.
mhm.
Yeah, I
Thank
hope
you.
this is the same use case. I just don't want to make any assumptions. I think that was the same use case you were referring to, correct?
I think
Yes,
here the
it
question
looks
is
like the same one.
hidden
Sorry.
questions. Claudia, is it the question on the hidden questions appearing on Smart IT?
Yes, there are two questions. One related to the approval. So it was explained. We are starting to use the WPC right now. So the first question, it was regarding the approval questions, and another one is about the hidden question. So
Yeah, that I was about
s-
to come next to that. Yeah, so I wanted to answer approval question first. Yeah, can I hear from you on the hidden question part, please, if you don't mind?
no, I don't mind. It can be another meeting. No problem.
Okay, so I mean, it's just that the hidden questions on that interface that opens on that side doesn't show up. What is I just wanna, or maybe if you can just, interact with support and let them send it to me. You don't need to open the idea, but just send it to me. What is the rationale behind using hidden questions? Because sometimes those hidden questions couldn't be very useful because you really want to show something to your agents which are as is answered by the end user. So I would like to understand really what is the use and benefit of showing those hidden questions, because a lot of customers that I have worked with, interact with, they have several questions, like a big form with majority of those hidden, but they're actually driving result for something else. And if you start showing those hidden questions, problem is really you make that UI cluttered, and then when agent is really talking on the phone, think about that experience that agent has with the end user. They are actually going through hidden questions, and you don't want to necessarily say, hey, I do see that you answered this question, but that's actually a hidden question, right? Which has no value, but it's actually used for driving value of some other field. So be cognizant of that. I spoke to a lot of customers and then they agreed, because what you would like to see on the agent side is um, the questionnaire that end user submitted. Really what they see is what you get. You can always pass those hidden questions into the fulfillment, right? Like on the work order side or incident side. So your agent has visibility into that, and then those are hidden questions. But you need to be diligent about that because you don't want to show something that's not useful. So I'm happy to understand that. You can send it to support and ask them to send it to me, and I'll take a look at it.